Hey Christmas lovers, it's Kristen at Decorator's Warehouse. I'm thrilled that you're here today. We are gonna be decking the halls with this beautiful glam Natural Elegance tree using our simple 4-step process. It's a layering technique where it breaks it down into layers, and you can adapt this to any style, whether you like rustic or whimsy. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're gonna start with our topper, and today, guys, I'm going a little more simplistic. And if you know me, that's not my usual style. I usually like big, fuller toppers, but this one is gonna be a little bit scaled back. This is a great way to kind of ease into toppers if this is new, because it's something that anybody can do. So for my topper, this is a new stem at Decorator's Warehouse this year. I love it because it's huge, and it also has all these different elements like the pine cone and the platinum leaf. I don't need a whole lot of different individual stems if I have this one. I'm gonna use 3 of these in this 9-foot tree. I also recommend 3 on a 7.5-foot tree. That just gives you your symmetry. And then on your 12-foot, you might scale that up a little bit, maybe 5 of each. And then I also have some gorgeous florals. So I always like to kind of cap my topper with some flowers. I've got a great platinum poinsettia stem, which pairs really nicely with this magnolia stem. 2 different profiles work really well together. So magnolia and poinsettia are a great pairing. All right, I'm jumping up on my ladder. First thing you want to do is just open this stem up a little bit. So pull out each element. It's all wired, so it'll hold its shape nicely. Love the pine cone on this stem too. Now we're gonna place all 3 of them at the top. We're gonna run that stem straight along the pole, and we're gonna use the tree to hold it in place. So just come in with a couple branches. You're gonna twist it in like this, and then just pull all of those pieces out. Now guys, I love this tree. It's one of my favorite trees. It's called the stow tree. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna have it on the website this year, but we do have it in our retail store. It goes fast every year, but this is the 9-foot stow. It's got these awesome C7 bulbs in addition to the mini lights throughout. Okay, and once my stems are placed at the top, see what I love about this, it kind of carries the shape of the tree. So if you're, like I said, if you're new to toppers and you just want simplistic, this is still creating that polished finished look, but with a lot of ease, and it's something that anybody can do. All right, so let's come in with our poinsettia. We're gonna angle that head out, and then we're gonna place that right at the base of the topper. Just kind of tuck it in, and again, twist the branches around it to hold it in place. Go ahead and angle the head out. And if you notice, one thing that I did is I put them on different planes. So they're not just straight across. I've got this one kind of lower, and then this one is up. So that just gives it some interest. And now we're gonna repeat that 3 times, so around each side. If I have the magnolia here, I wanna make sure that I alternate, so I'm going back to the poinsettia. So for this design, I've got 2 ribbons that I'm gonna be pairing together. I just love like this taupey platinum ribbon. That's gonna be our main ribbon. And when I say main ribbon, this is the one that your eye is gonna see when you look at the design, because it's gonna be our top layer. And then this is my supporting ribbon. And so when I say supporting ribbon, it complements our main ribbon, but it doesn't overpower our main ribbon. When I'm choosing a supporting ribbon, things that I'm looking for are texture. You can do something like a repeating pattern, like a plaid, or just something that is a solid, like a velvet. That's a good supporting ribbon as well. Okay, I'm up on my ladder. I'm starting my ribbon now. So what I want to do is I'm going to overlap them. And let's go ahead and fold. We're going to do a diagonal cut to get a fishtail. And then we're just going to leave a little tail, so like 6 to 8 inches, and then pleat it. And then we are going to, you're essentially folding the ribbon to get the loop, and you're pleating it. And then see how right now we have the backing on the front. We want to twist that to bring that pretty side forward. So one of kind of my signature things that I like to do is start with a 2-loop bow right at the base of the topper, because I think that transitions us into the design really nicely. So let's go ahead and twist that. And then see how this is a good quality wired ribbon, so it's gonna billow out kind of like this. But find a spot right at the base. We're gonna use the branches of the tree itself. We're gonna twist it in to hold it in place. And I love a little tail detail because look, I can just stick that straight up and it looks wonderful. So let's go ahead and we're gonna come down a couple branches. I'm just creating a billow essentially. If you can get comfortable making smaller loops in these billowing effect, you can do ribbon. And I know it's so intimidating because I hear it from y'all all the time, but just practice. You know, get a cheap ribbon, that's what I was told, and just make a loop and undo it and make a loop and just practice until you get really confident with your techniques. All right, so I love the shape that we have there, and now we're just gonna cut another tail. So, you know, maybe 8 inches, fold it and cut out a diagonal. We don't want that to just go straight, like, see, that's kind of boring. We're not about boring. If you have a good quality wired ribbon, it's gonna hold its shape. So create a little bit of movement by giving it a good twist. And then we want to open this up because we didn't come here to hide that ribbon, we want to see that ribbon. Since my first continuation is placed, I'm going to go ahead and do that again over here on this side. So the whole key is we want to start getting really confident with this billowing and loops, and then we're going to zigzag through the tree using the same process. So that one has kind of 2 smaller loops at the top. I think I'm going to do a tail and 1 smaller loop on this continuation, and then I'm going to go kind of to the midpoint and over. So this is where I'm going to start my second continuation. I'll go ahead and pleat. We're going to get 1 loop and twist. So again, we're coming down a couple rows of branches, like about 2 rows. Twist it in. I want to open that up. Now I could leave a tail and cut here, but I think I'm actually going to start another continuation or another billow. So same thing, I want this to flow. We're going to come down about 2 rows, twist it in. I really love this ribbon, it's so pretty. Okay, so now I can cut. So I'm left with a small piece on the roll. I don't want to waste that. That would not be good. So let me show you something simple that you can do if you have a small run. So just go ahead and fold it, cut at an angle. We're going to do this on both sides. So I call this a bow tie because when you pleat it in the middle, it kind of looks like a bow tie. But this is a great thing to do if you have just a small piece left, or maybe you have an area of your tree where you need to add in a little bit of ribbon detailing, but you don't have a whole lot of space to create a full run of ribbon. It's like bringing the color into those empty spots. I'm just twisting that in, and then use those good wired edges to create a little bit of movement. All right, guys, 50% done. We're 2 steps into our 4-step process, and now we're going into our floral and spray layer. So first thing we want to do is we're going to create some floral clusters. And when I talk about clusters, I'm talking about groupings that use sprays and flowers. They're assembled together to take up bigger chunks of your tree. And this really helps to give you a designer look. Okay, so I showed you this stem earlier. This is the same one that we used in the topper. I just love it. It's kind of a cheater stem because you've got multiple pieces that look like it's different picks put together. We've got a pine cone, we've got this little like champagne wispy piece and berries. So it really goes a long way. We're gonna use this as the base of our cluster, and we're gonna come in with the same 2 florals that we used at the base of our top, and we're gonna lay them together. We want them to almost be married together where it looks like one piece. So let's lay the stem along the other stem, and then just angle that head upwards. And then let's come in with our magnolia, and we're gonna go to the other side. And we want this one to go kind of up and out in the other direction. So see how pretty that is? And then you don't have to do this. I do it because it's great for storage, but take one of the stems and wrap it. You could also zip tie it. I wonder if that would work. I've never tried it, but I think it would work. So that's what it's gonna look like. At the end of the season, just get those big oversized plastic tubs, throw all of these in a tub, and then next year, pull them out. You'll have a little bit of shaping to do, but they'll look beautiful and good as new. So a good rule of thumb on the clusters, I'm not counting the 3 that I used in the top, but in the body of the tree, think of your tree size and then use that as the multiplier. So for example, 9-foot tree, 9 clusters. That's kind of 1 per foot of tree. Now I do not decorate the back, maybe third of the tree. If it's up against a wall, you're not gonna see it anyway. Put your money where it's gonna show up. So like I said, I have 9, but I'm not doing that back little third. So if I was gonna do all the way around, or if I had a really full tree, start with 9 and then maybe go to 12. That way it's gonna get that back coverage also. Okay, so now we're gonna place them, and we are essentially zigzagging through the tree. So we're looking for our holes, and we're gonna use these to fill in big chunks of the tree. Also, when working with florals and sprays, think about the shape of the tree. Well, the tree naturally flows downwards, so we want the sprays and the stems that we're adding to flow in that same direction. So what that means is we want to angle the stem up into the branches, so it's going to kind of cascade down and follow the shape of the tree. My stems are a little bit long for this top section, so I'm going to bend that. That way it won't pop out the other side. So just slide it up, use the branches of the tree itself, wrap it in. One time, a customer called and asked me if she should hot glue the pieces into the tree. I don't recommend hot glue on your Christmas tree, just saying. If I'm there, I'm gonna now come over in this area and then just kind of work through the tree. Kind of do this. All my floral clusters are placed, so now I'm coming in with this beautiful platinum silver poinsettia. It's got like some jewel detailing in the center, but I love it. So same thing, I have 9 pieces, 9-foot tree, and we are gonna place these individually kind of in between the clusters that are here. So again, we're zigzagging, but we're zigzagging in the opposite direction. All of my floral is placed. Now I'm going into my sprays. I love sprays because this is where you get all the dimension and texture to your tree. So for this design, I've got 5 styles of stems. When you're choosing your stems, one thing I recommend is to look for different profiles of stems. So for example, I've got this one, which is a nice big flowy berry. It's gonna be gorgeous. We don't want to do all berries because that would look very concentrated and very similar. So we're looking for different textures. This is one of my absolute favorite stems. We've carried it for years. It's a bestseller every year, but it's a nice wispy stem with jewels on it. So picture that coming out of the tree and cascading down. It just really catches the light. This one is a short stem, one of my favorites. It's just a great classic piece. It comes in a lot of different profiles, but it's a short stem and it opens up really nice to fill in spaces. And then this one, kind of a leaf profile, and then we've got a beautiful platinum berry with some champagne glitter. We're gonna work one style at a time. I'm gonna start with this one. First thing you wanna do is open it up. So kind of like what we did with that topper piece. We're just pulling the individual wired sections apart, and we want to like kind of pop it almost. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we're running the stems upward. So as I'm placing these two, I want to tell you a little bit about the tree. So this is our Natural Elegance bundle. Our bundle packages are designed to take all the guesswork out of the equation. So if you like this design, you can just say, I have a 9-foot tree. We send you everything that you need to recreate this look. And then of course you have the video which shows you how to use the pieces. So our design team, we have over 35 years of experience. We really pick the pieces that bring the most value to you and then work together to make a beautiful design. So we hope you love this package. It's at decoratorswarehouse.com. And if you like the individual pieces that you see here too, this is in the Natural Elegance collection. So you could just go in and pick the ribbon, or if you like one of the stems, they're all available on our website. So I've placed all of my crabapple stems. Now I'm gonna come in with all the rest of my stems. It doesn't matter what order we do them because we're gonna place them all essentially anyway. One thing I did mention, that I don't decorate the back side of the tree because you don't see it, but I wanna say don't ignore the peripheral too. So if it's in a sight line and you are gonna see it from another area of the home, make sure you put pieces on that side too, because we do want it to look complete to the eye. We just wanna use our pieces in the place where it makes the most sense to use them. All right, we are 3 steps down in our 4-step process. We're going on to our very last layer, which is the ornaments. I use a lot of floral and sprays in my designs, which means I don't use a ton of ornaments. So when I do add the ornaments at the end, they're really just kind of acting as fillers. They're filling in any pockets that are still open. So I like to use a lot of bigger scaled pieces like this 5.5-inch shatterproof. I've got a 6-inch net ball. And then I like to add in a few more specialized styles too. Like I love these champagne snowflakes. They're gorgeous. They've got a great jeweled detail on them. And then these taupe kind of iridescent ornaments are really pretty too. I have these in 3 different profiles. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my shatterproof. I'll fill in with all the bigger pieces, the bigger balls first, and then I'll come back at the end and do the snowflakes. But I've got just a little piece of floral wire here. And what I wanna do to secure these is I'm going like maybe 1/3 of the way into the branch, and I'm just gonna wrap that floral wire around the branch, holding it close. So we don't wanna see strings or anything like that, so it's gonna be held tight to the branch. And same with the ornaments, we do want symmetry, so we're just gonna kind of zigzag through one style at a time. So as far as quantity on ornaments, again, there's no hard or fast rule, but I'd say you want probably at least 5 or 6 styles. And then I always work in odd numbers. That's not like any scientific theory or anything, but for a 9-foot tree, maybe like 7 pieces of each of those styles. You know, maybe for a 7.5-foot tree, you're working in 5s of each. And then a 12-foot, maybe like 10 to 12. So for the platinum balls, I am tucking those deeper because they're big, and so it's gonna kind of conceal my pole. It's gonna bring light and brighten it from the inside out. So those are just kind of tucked in closer to the pole. Okay, so let's talk about the specialty ornaments for a minute. So they have a long string, but what we don't wanna do is hang it in a way that when you look at it, you're gonna see a lot of string. So my little trick is to push it over the branch and then put your finger around the string and wrap it a few times. So that's gonna pull it up close to the branch. And see how pretty that is? Now when I look at that, my eye doesn't see string, but it sees what we want it to see, which is the snowflake. All right, guys, that completes our 4-step process, and I promise you can do this in your own home. If you liked this content, be sure to hit subscribe and then follow us over there on Facebook and Pinterest. We're also on Instagram, and our retail store, Decorator's Warehouse, is based in Arlington, Texas. You can shop online at decoratorswarehouse.com. We hope that you have a wonderful Christmas season and happy decorating.